Hey friends, and welcome to a new video dedicated to Garten of Banban. Today we are going to talk about so many incredible news, because the new episode of the Banban Chronicles has finally been released, the series of videos that shows us the secrets and origins of the most important characters of this series. In particular, the new episode is dedicated to Flambo, the main mascot of Chapter 8. But this is not just a simple episode, because we have been given so many new details and some secrets that could open new paths for truly amazing theories. One of the most important revelations concerns his very first version, meaning how Flambo was originally supposed to look before the final changes. This discovery not only allows us to better understand the identity of the character, but also to connect him to the other monsters and creatures we have met in the previous chapters. But that's not all. In this episode there are also hidden details, small clues that, if carefully observed, could anticipate what we will see in the next chapter of Garten of Banban, which is Chapter 9. And as always, the Banban Chronicles are not just about storytelling, but they leave us with many hints that could become essential to understand the future of the saga. So guys, get ready, because today we will analyze together all the most important revelations about Flambo's episode. We will discover how he was first imagined, and we will try to connect the dots with what we already know, to build new theories about Chapter 9 of Garten of Banban. If you are as passionate about this series as I am, and you don't want to miss a single detail, stay with me until the end of the video, because I promise there are truly surprising things to discover. First of all, let's see the first meeting with Flambo.
Who are you? Are you it? I thought 17 was the Seeker. Are you even playing with us? Too bad for you. This spot is already taken. Wait, someone's coming. They're gonna give my hiding spot away. Close the door and hide.
Hey, it's been a while.
Okay friends, we have just seen the first encounter with Flambo, and we got a closer look at his appearance and characteristics. But now let's dive into a truly fascinating part, his origin, meaning how this character was supposed to be at the beginning and what changes were made during development. Flambo was conceived to represent the true opposite counterpart of Banban. If we think about it, this is a recurring concept in many horror sagas, having a dark twin or an opposite reflection of the main mascot. And this is exactly why Flambo was designed with a blue color, in sharp contrast to the bright red that defines Banban. Blue and red are two colors that cancel and complete each other, and this was meant to visually transmit the concept of opposites. But the most surprising part is that it wasn't just a change of color. In fact, at the beginning Flambo was imagined with a very different design. If we look closely at Banban's head shape, we can notice it resembles that of a cat, with soft yet elongated forms. Well, precisely for this reason, the developers thought of creating Flambo as his animal opposite, and therefore more similar to a dog. The idea was to make the two characters almost like two sides of the same coin, one cat and one dog, one red and one blue, one more familiar and the other more unsettling. In the image I'm showing you on screen, you can actually see how Flambo was supposed to look in his first version, and I have to admit, it's really impressive. A design that would have immediately made him recognizable as Banban's direct rival. However, this idea was scrapped during development. Why? The reason is very interesting. Even if Flambo was meant to be Banban's counterpart, he wasn't supposed to stray too far from his design. Otherwise, he would have given the impression of belonging to a completely different category of creatures, breaking away from the visual thread that connects all the main mascots of the series. So, in the end, the creators decided to keep the head shape very similar to Banban's, avoiding turning him into a real dog. This way, Flambo stays consistent with the saga style, while still maintaining that unique identity that makes him stand out. This choice shows us how much work goes into every single character and how even the smallest details can completely change the visual and narrative impact of a monster in Garten of Banban. Now let's talk about what will happen to this concept of Flambo that we've just seen. As we said, this is a concept, a version created during the early stages of development, but then completely abandoned. Over time, Flambo evolved into his final form, the one we all know today, which officially became part of the world of Garten of Banban. His version with the dog-like head, unfortunately, will never return. This has been clearly confirmed. It will remain one of those characters we can call discarded, creatures that had a design phase but never truly made it into the game. In the video, to make this even clearer, they even gave a name to this alternative version, calling it DOGBAN. A simple name, but one that perfectly represents the idea behind the concept, a Banban in dog form, an opposite that was never born. But wait, because the video doesn't just talk about DOGBAN. There's actually another surprise that immediately caught the attention of fans, a second alternative version of Flambo, this time much more unique. It's a variant where the character wears superhero boots and gloves, both in bright yellow. This version has been named Super Flambo. What makes it even more interesting is that the video clearly says that if there's a version we like the most, we can write it in the comments. And the developers hinted that if one of the variants receives enough appreciation, it might even find its way into one of the upcoming chapters of the series. Of course, there's one important clarification. This possibility applies to all the versions shown, except for DOGBAN, which has been officially confirmed as a discarded concept that will never become part of the main story. This kind of openness to the fans is really fascinating, because it shows once again how much the Garten of Banban saga is influenced not only by the developer's vision, but also by the reactions of the community. Super Flambo, with his yellow superhero gloves and boots, might look unusual in a horror context, but we shouldn't forget that the series has always surprised us with mascots that are stranger and stranger each time. So guys, now the question is, which version do you like the most? DOGBAN, which sadly will remain just a memory, or Super Flambo, which might have a real chance of becoming canon? Let me know in the comments, because it will be exciting to see which of these forms captured the community's attention the most. Alright friends, we've reached the end of this video. As you've seen, the episode of the Banban Chronicles dedicated to Flambo gave us so many surprises. But be careful, because this episode doesn't stop here. In fact, it still contains many other secrets and hidden details that deserve a deeper analysis. And I can assure you, they open the way to some truly incredible theories. To avoid making this video too long, we'll talk about them in the next videos. So stay tuned on the channel, because soon new videos will arrive dedicated to those secrets we haven't covered yet. I promise there will be some surprising revelations and connections you might not expect. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss any updates. Bye bye.